What's up, fellas? So I've now hit a 4-plate weighted pull-up weighing in the 170s, and now most recently weighing over 200 pounds. And you're probably wondering, Bald Omni-Man, how did you do that? I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I just knew that I could do it, so I did it. I was with good friend Omar Isov. I was like, look, man, check this shit out, and I did it. Now, that's not to say, oh, look how great I am. I just followed my instincts, and that's what I'm gonna talk about today. There's the Paris, the educator answer, as my buddy Sam likes to put it. And then there's Paris, the lifter. Paris, the fella that follows his instincts and just does shit that feels right. That's the hat and the scope that I'm gonna talk about this in today. And I feel like that's been missing a lot in our space and in my content in particular, because there's a lot of insight into talking about what I think about when I lift as opposed to teaching you how to lift. Does that make sense? That better make sense. Now, with what we're gonna talk about today, you may agree with what I say, you may not. But as Rich Piana put it, look, bro, I got a 4-plate weighted pull-up. What does it matter how I got it? As I said, my channel has been lacking that rawness that you get from just listening to someone talk about their craft for a long time. I used to do it all the time with the bro talks, very introspective, just talking about a variety of topics, but being raw and not stepping into that role of educator. For a while, I feel like the space needed that educational content. I feel like there was a void where beginner and intermediate bodybuilding content needed to fill that void. But I feel that we've done a great job at saturating that and teaching everybody the basics. My channel has always been representative of my journey, and that's not where I'm at in my journey right now. I don't want to make that type of long form content anymore. That's what the shorts are for giving you those, do these 3 exercises, those golden tidbits, those try this. It doesn't take 15 minutes. I can give you that in 30 seconds or less. If I go to a gym, bro, honestly, and I ask him, why do you like this exercise or why are you doing it? And that motherfucker starts talking to me for 15 minutes, I'm gonna get pissed off and just fucking Charlie Brown noise in the middle of him talking, bro. Much the same, I have to step into that understanding with my content. I know that the time for making 15-minute videos talking about 3 exercises, do this, do that, that time has passed, at least for me in my journey. I'm talking about me specifically. And I'm not saying that because those videos don't get hella views, like I don't have 36 plus videos drafted right now from thumbnails and titles, clickable titles that I know will get views in my phone right now. Or the channel is in a bad place and I'm desperate. The channel is up right now. I'm speaking from a place of this is where I'm at in my journey and this is where we're gonna be going from here on out. And if I do make that long form video like we're doing today, I'm gonna diversify, I'm gonna make it worth your time and worth my time. I've gotten so wrapped up in trying to give quality information that I've had a tendency to overqualify things and just forget to give you the rawness, to give you my actual opinions on lifting. And I wanna do a lot more of that. Now, as an advanced lifter, when it comes to pull-up training, to being an advanced pull-upper, a pull-up enthusiast, I don't actually do pull-ups that often. I do pull-ups as a regular rotation in a cornucopia, which is a gigabrain way of saying I do a variety of fucking back exercises. I do hip hinges, lat pull-downs, rows, things to generally develop my body and I get stronger at those things. And when I feel like I'm ready to do some pull-ups, I do some pull-ups, and that's how I do it personally and what I've gotten the best success with. I just generally train with all kinds of back and arm exercises, and that's how we get it done. I find that this is a lot better for growth and holistic general strength at my level. And honestly, pull-ups are such an oonga boonga fucking exercise anyway, dude. I know that if I get stronger at X, Y, and Z, when I come back to pull-ups, they're gonna be stronger. And I hit PRs seamlessly. That's just how it's always been. I'm not gonna spend a 10-week hypertrophy strength peaking cycle to do a pull-up, bro. There's no skill component to it. Now, there is, but yanking yourself up over the bar, which is the objective of a 1-rep max weighted pull-up. It's brute strength, nervous system, and muscle mass. I do not need to do a 10-week peaking cycle. I'm not going to do that. Now, maybe I could put, instead of easily doing a 4-plate weighted pull-up, I could do 200 pounds. But dude, I ain't trying to do all that. Now, one thing I do pay attention to when I do pull-ups is total load. And I think that's the #1 thing that holds most pull-uppers, pull-up enthusiasts back. Let me tell you something, think about it this way. Have you ever done like a hard set of pull-ups and you say, I'm gonna drop some weight off and get some reps in, and you drop off 20 pounds and the set is just shit? Well, it's because, put it this way, Let's say you weigh 200 pounds, you did 90 pounds for 5 reps, that's 290 pounds for 5 reps. Let's say you drop off 20 pounds, even a caveman like me knows that that's 270 pounds. I'm no mathematician, but I'd be willing to bet that 270 is like 95% or more of 290. That's not a back down, bro. You did another maximal set. No shit, it felt really hard. So for me, if I do like 110 for 10 reps, I know that that next set needs to be like, honestly, bro, like 45 pounds. That's more so what I pay attention to when I do pull-ups. Not technique, none of that. Of course, like with anything, you use a good eccentric and you don't catapult down to hurt your elbows and your shoulders. But there ain't a lot of thought that goes into it. Another important thing for me is pushing intensity. That is very important for strength. And my main weapon of choice is lengthen biased barbell rows, and that is Dr. Mike Israetel approved. He demonstrated the form in a video that he did with a good friend Alex. Listen, fellas, do not be afraid to move your torso a little bit, as long as you're doing it in the way that Dr. Mike describes. You're just raising it a little bit so that you can row to your tummy. You're not using momentum to fling the weight, and you're using the controlled form that he preaches and that what I use. Now what that does is that allows me to move poundages, now that I'm thinking about it, that are pretty similar to what I would do in weighted pull-ups. So it is a way to practice that intensity for me without having to actually do the pull-ups, which are harder for me to recover from. Now the rows also work my posterior chain as well. So I'm just getting fucking brolic and strong everywhere. I'm fucking fired up. I love barbell rows, okay? So the other day, I think it was yesterday actually, I did 305 pounds for 8 clean, buttery reps. Fellas, 4 weeks before that, or I don't know, however many weeks ago, I did 300 for 8 reps. I knew when I did that, I could walk into the gym with good friend Omar and say, look fellas, we're gonna do a 4-plate weighted pull-up. Check this shit out. I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt because, again, those rows allowed me to push intensity. Now, when we're talking about the biceps, I just think of them as like the way I think about triceps on bench press, for lack of a better term. Work them hard, work them often, work them heavy, get them stronger, get them bigger, and they're gonna help on my pulls, and they'll help on your pulls more than likely. That'll work for almost everybody. But that's just common sense in my mind, bro. There's not a lot to talk about there. But one thing that I am gonna talk about a little bit is the diet. Now, 2 things we're gonna talk about there. One, I probably eat way too much protein in my first meal. It's like probably 100 grams of protein, but I'll tell you what I am getting. I feel strong when I eat my gyro bowl, which is what I've eaten every day for years now. I get an influx of calories, protein, carbs, electrolytes, micronutrients, and I eat it, I feel strong. And I try to replicate meals like that as often as I can throughout the day. And it adds up to 3,600 calories, something like that. I don't really count calories, I just approximate, I look at it, I eyeball it. I'm in a calorie surplus. I have been gaining weight gradually for years now, and it is what it is, man. Now, what I also want to talk about is the calorie surplus aspect of it. A lot of calisthenics enjoyers feel like, well, bulking is the wrong way to go about when you do your pull-ups and your dips or whatever, because you want to stay light to have better leverages, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you're a calisthenics enjoyer and that don't apply to you, eat the meat, spit out the bones. I'm not talking to you. But if you have that opinion, think about it this way. If you were to want to grow your chest with bench press or to grow your back with rows, would you eat in a calorie surplus or would you try to stay shredded? The answer should be you would try to eat in a calorie surplus, right? I hope it would be. For people who've been watching me for long enough, that better be your answer. I do not want to hear anything but, yes, I'm going to be in a calorie surplus. Why are dips and pull-ups so much different? Now you could say that they're different types of exercises, which is true, but at the end of the day, we're using them as tools to drive intensity or volume. Just the same as a bench press, just the same as a row. Calories are your friend, protein is your friend. And that's always worked well for me, and I've pushed back against that since the dawn of time, and I continue to hit total load PRs, weight added PRs, is what it is. Anyway, to step back into the hat of Paris the educator for a little bit. I'm fucking fired up, man. I got swamp ass. I just got done training. That's why I have swamp. I don't just walk around with swamp ass. I got done training, okay? And I'm hungry as well, so I'm just fired up. But all jokes aside, fellas, if you want to take a more methodical approach to your training, you want to follow a program that's written out in a way and learn the way, the Berserk method is not concrete in that you need to do this. The Berserk method is about showing you how to walk your path. Does that make sense? To make you self-sufficient. When you take the Berserk method, it should look different from what I do, right? Beast Slayer is the ultimate encapsulation of what I do with the Berserk method every year. Berserk method 2024 is going to look different from Berserk 2023 because I am different. Much the same, my Beast Slayer program should look different from yours because we are different lifters. People have been asking it because Beast Slayer is very customizable. You can find it on Boost Camp, by the way, for free. How do I turn this into a powerlifting program? How do I turn this into a weighted pull-up program? Excellent. I wanted people to ask those questions. Wanted to let y'all know before I let you go here that I am going to be releasing example programs or templates of like a powerlifting example, weighted pull-up example, to give you that food for thought so that you can take it, tweak it, and make it yours. Now, one last thing I'm gonna leave y'all with before I let you go and I get some food in my belly and wash my behind. What's your weighted pull-up PR? How many body weight pull-ups can you do or have you done in the past? Like, what's your PRs? Go ahead and let me know in a comment down below. Watch these videos now that you watch this one. See you later.